Hey, I'm David. Today we're going to be tackling this air conditioner. Our RV has two air conditioners, one in the front and one in the back, but this one has started making some squeaking noises and now it has completely stopped blowing air altogether. Stay tuned to see how we tackled this repair job ourselves on our own RV, 2006 Holiday Rambler Endeavor. But we're working on this Dometic. Already did some troubleshooting. The motor, it's not turning. It does turn, but it's really hard to turn. We're gonna open the lid, get in there, start taking apart the stuff to get to the motor, and then also replacing the capacitor while we're in there. That is the label where it says manufacturer. See that 651815? It says manufacturer MFG, but that's model number. So keep that in mind. Well, the other day I came up here and this motor was stinking smoking hot. I mean, like you couldn't even touch it. It was so hot. And this wheel is really difficult to turn. We're going to take the motor out, just like all good air conditioners. They fail you when you need them most. It's summer in Florida. It's not too bad today. I think it's 88, 89 degrees. I'm under a tree, the sun's behind a cloud. That definitely makes it better. Put the sticker on volts AC. We're gonna read from common to this red guy right here. That's 0. Also read from common this one, which is also 0 volts AC. Now this part, magically, look at all that condensation. Now I still gotta take the bolts off this thing to get it up. Look at that, I got one standard one in my bag. Maybe that's why it's there. It's 1/4, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so this thing is really hard to turn. My plan is to pull this out, swap the fans over to the new one. I've also got to get this housing off here. I don't have to make a cut. I can just flip this over like so. Ta-da! The motor. There's 4 bolts holding this motor down. How about a 10? Feeling good about this 10. Boom! It's a 10. Now, this is one of my favorite tools. This 90-degree guy, so I can plug that in like that. My little adapter fella, my socket. And now this, I got a 90-degree turn, which is gonna make getting this off a way lot easier. See how easy that was? Hope my head wasn't in the way. Not snag these wires on our way out and not bang up this coil here. Ta-da! It's out. You still want to be careful with it. You don't want to damage the fins on those squirrel cages. We've got the new motor. We've got the old motor. We cut the ground wire because I couldn't get it off of this nut here. And so this did come with another ground wire. It's crazy long.
Hey, let me jump in real quick and offer you a free gift, a free RV checklist that you can pick up at noregretrv.com. That's noregretrv.com. Go there, select the lists you want. We'll be adding more to them. Come back often. If you've already got a list and you lost it, you can go back and ask for it again. No Regret RV to pick up your free RV checklist to help you out in your RV adventure. All right, let's get back to the video.
And the new motor comes with all the connections for the circuit board and for the capacitor, so that's great. We don't have to make new connections. We can just snap them on and connect this guy. One thing I did notice is that the old motor has this bracket, and this was the bracket that was mounted to the bottom of the air conditioning unit, and so we're going to need to see if we can get this off of here and onto here in the right place, which will be between the feet, which should be this bolt down there. We'll do that last. I did some testing to make sure I could get the right Allen wrench, and this is a 1/8 SAE Allen wrench, and it like barely fits in there. I tried some metrics, and a metric fit in there better, but was a little too loose. This one just barely squeezes into that hole for that. So what we're going to do is a couple of things. One is I'm going to mark right here on the shaft. It's going to be a little harder for you to see for this shaft, but I want to mark where the wheel housing, as far, like how far on to the shaft does it go. So one thing you might have noticed is that if you ever replace a fan yourself, your fan motor may come with something like this. This is a capacitor. Now you notice it's only got 2 prongs. This is a 15 microfarad capacitor, which we will not use. What we'll be using is this is the capacitor that's called for the air conditioner itself. So it's got 15 microfarads and 55. I'm guessing that means that the one that's labeled fan right here is 15, between common and fan is 15, and between herm, which is for your hermetically sealed unit, which is your compressor, the compressor to common, that one is probably the 55. So just so you know, that's how that works. All right, so we've got these marked. We're going to go ahead and loosen these. I've already done this one. I kind of wish I wouldn't have done it off camera, so that you could hear kind of the snap. It was really hard. I'm just like turning, and then it goes kink, and then it comes off. So now that I've got it off, I can loosen this up, and I don't think you've got to loosen it too terribly much. Yeah, there you go. And it comes off, so that fan's going to end up there. I like to align my units so that, you know, the legs are on this side, the legs are on this side. Rotation-wise, doesn't matter. And if you couldn't tell, if you look down the fan blades, there's one that has a little notch cut into it. That's to get down there for that pin bolt, if you want to call it, that is holding that thing on. All right, here goes this one. This one might make a... There we go. Okay, so the problem I'm having is getting this squirrel cage off of here. So we got this contraption set up now. Basically, it's an attempt to hold up the squirrel cage by supporting it as much as possible all the way around so that I can try to drive this drive shaft out of it. Get the big hammer. At this point, I just want to get it out. There it goes. Good grief. I think it's flat. Can you tell me if it's not flat? Some of it I think might be an illusion. But when I lay it down on a piece of concrete, it's flat. Now it could be, you know, like this and like compressed, maybe. I don't think so. I don't know. We're just gonna have to try it because I don't have another squirrel cage. We'll measure with the measurements we've got from the base. So I'm right at 4 7/8. So I'm gonna make a mark on this one at 4 7/8. It's 3 5/8. Look at that. It slides right on there like it was meant to be. Oh, it was already there. That is not good. I made a new friend in the RV world. His name is Brian. He owns Brian's Recreational Vehicle Diagnostic and Repair in the Vero Beach, Florida area. And he's a super nice guy. I called him and asked him, and guess what? He had an extra one. Actually, a used one that he had in stock that he sold me for a whopping $10, which is totally awesome. All right, look at this. Oh, yeah. Much, much better. I almost forgot one important element that probably would have been easier to do with the fan off is this, I've got to get this leg off of here. So this bracket here needs to go onto this bolt right there, which in the old motor, that bolt is extra long, like way extra long. This motor, it's not. Is there enough thread there? I think there may be. Yeah, I would like to see more. I think it's enough. It's like a stand for helping it stay up. All right, so now we are ready to take this new motor up to the roof. I'm hoping this part will only take about 30 minutes. All right, we got a billion wires. All right, very interesting. So this is hitting. That's why I brought my handy dandy tool with me. Again, because this motor, as I measured downstairs, is slightly different in shape. It is the correct replacement part. Oh, these wires are all in the way. There we go. Okay. I'm going to push these wires over here. All right, so let's see if we can get this thing bolted up into place. If you remember, we had 2 bigger bolts holding this, the motor. There's that one, and there is this one. And it's interesting that this plate is not sitting in the exact same spot. I think I might actually have to end up shimming it up some. Let's get our angle drive buddy, 10mm socket. Our knee pad's properly adjusted. Let's see if we can get this guy screwed in there. Okay, that looks lined up pretty well. That is much better and much smoother, but this bracket is not in the same place. But I think the screws that I took out of it were self-tapping that are a little bit old. I'm not sure if their self-tappiness is still tapping, but we're gonna give it the old college try. There's just not a lot of room in there for fingers and tools. Look at that. There we go. Free spinning. That's a good thing. I'm gonna leave the top off because I do want to do a test run of this after I have it hooked up. There's not a lot, but just a little bit of little metal shavings in there. Don't want to leave a foreign object in there to wreak havoc. And I've learned a lesson just now in these hard to get to finger places. I'm going to go ahead and put my screws in the holes first instead of waiting. So because this guy is difficult to get to, I'm going to put that one in. I'm going to put this one in. While I align the rest of this guy up pretty good. And we're going to squish this squishy stuff back up against that. It's to kind of seal that hole. It's not a perfectly sealed unit, but let's get the new capacitor in and then we'll start buttoning up the rest of it and do a test run inside this part. That's why it's important to get a good picture of what all's there. Let me show you a quick, call it a safety thing that you probably need to know about working with capacitors if you can get the boxes open. Capacitors work the way we were taught in the Navy is that they charge slowly and discharge quickly. And so this sort of like a battery, not exactly, but it will hold some energy in it, some electricity that is distributed through these connection points. And something you need to do before you start working with a capacitor, probably not a brand new one, but it certainly couldn't hurt, is you want to short out any potential power that may be camped out inside here. And the best way and fastest way to do that is just to short it out. Now you only need to go from common to fan, make a short between common and fan, and then a short between common and Herm. So this is the common right here, if you can see the C, and this is fan over here. If you can see, no, that's Herm, that's Herm. The green one is fan up here. But all it takes is taking something just like a regular old metal screwdriver and touching it on one of these prongs and then touching it on the green one. That's it. And then touching this one, touching it. I've never had one spark. I've always wondered, like, is it going to spark? But once you've touched common to fan, common to Herm, now you've dissipated the electricity from here. So that's just something real quick to think about that I didn't cover in great detail in the video, so I wanted to insert it in here. We got 2 reds on the Herm. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whites on the common and 1 brown. Capacitors charge slowly and discharge quickly. That may be an oversimplification, but so now that I've touched all those, it's definitely dead. So I can start taking stuff apart. Hopefully they will come apart without a big fight. There you go, there's that one. There's that one. Oh, that's right, I remember this one. I've worked on one of these before. This guy can just stay attached. Now don't be surprised, just like the motor was ever so slightly different, don't be surprised if the wires are ever so slightly different, like this one that has this right angle bend to it. I don't know which one's coming from the fan motor yet, but it's like, just don't be surprised if it's ever so slightly different. Maybe it doesn't have that right angle. Come on, let go. There we go. And one more. There. All right, this capacitor, I still think I'm going to replace it, and if it is good, I'm going to replace it and keep this as my spare. But one way you can test it is, so on here it has 55 and 15 microfarads, UF, the little U is microfarads, F, plus or minus 5%, right? So we can take our handy dandy multimeter, we're going to put it on capacitance, and you'll know you're in the right one. You're like, well, this signal doesn't look like that UF, but you notice right here on the screen it says microfarads. So it's reading microfarads right now. From common to fan will be the lower one, because fans are easier to start. 14.9, right? It did say 15 a second ago. 14.9 is definitely within plus or minus 5%. And then we're going to go to common to Herm, which is compressor, and we're at 54.5. So let's compare this to our brand new one just to see. I got this Bojack off Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. Always check your parts. Make sure that, you know, if you got a Dometic Penguin 2, it's got to be this exact same model. Penguin 2 is mine to work on yours. So always check your parts, or just do like I did, call Dometic. 14.9. That's the exact same thing the other one had. Common and Herm. 53.6. We are 1.4 away. So yes, that's well within the plus or minus. So there you go. So both of these are good. Again, I'm going to go, you can tell this one's a little bit bigger too, but I'm going to go ahead and put this one in and keep this one as my backup spare. So let's do that. A couple things we need to be doing here, and that is, don't forget, we've got to route all these wires. And if you remember right on the inside, this ground wire, so I'm going to put this ground wire to the side because it's actually going to connect inside there. And these guys got to get run through this cable tension clip-a thingy. Here, just like that. And now I think it comes apart. So we can take that off of there. Oop, and drop it. All right, we'll set that to the side. New cables, old cables. All the slack from this, I'm gonna keep on this side, and I'm gonna bundle it up in here. There's not enough room in this little housing for 1,000 wires. You can see in there, there's another little black capacitor in there. I'm guessing it's a capacitor, it's round. Another capacitor of sorts. I don't know what this is for, but there it is. So putting this in there, I guess there's plenty of room. All right, so spin this around. Fan went down like this. This white from the motor is the white that's connected to this dual one, if you remember that. And we'll put the new white one on. All right, so the other white ones can go ahead and go back on because they do not interfere with anything else. 1, 2, 3, 4. Was it 4? Nope, I thought it was 5. Here we go. Number 5, hiding in the back. And then we've got a red. That red can go there, and then this red. Okay, so here it goes. So this is the first, oh, I don't want that on there. I'm hooking up stuff that doesn't even belong. So I was trying to do this one at a time. This white wire goes to this white wire. The yellow one I know isn't used because it's got a cap on it. We'll deal with that in a minute. The black one goes to the board, and the red one goes to the board. So let's deal with those two. So this red is going to go where that red is. So that red's gone, and the new red is on. Look, it's even labeled. It says it red. This black is going to go over to where this black is. That black's gone. The new black on. New black's on, new red's on. Yellow's not used. Has this cute little crimpy cap on it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to fold it over itself and zip tie this and just leave it like that. So it has some protection with this little boot.
In here there's a yellow wire that's not used in this particular Dometic Penguin 2 version. The yellow wire is for a medium fan speed that's not used, and in the original that I took out it wasn't used. At the top of the circuit board you see that purple wire and then you see a red wire, and between the two there's a spade. That spade is marked yellow, and so I found it really confusing that here I have this yellow wire, why is it not plugged in? So again, after some research, I did confirm that it is not used in my model. After finishing with the yellow wire, I put the capacitor back in place. I did had to pull it back out, make a slight adjustment with the retaining bracket. Basically, I just had to bend it so that it would hold the new capacitor. There's a slightly different size, and so that it would hold it securely. And then I screwed that into place. So that's all held in well. Close that lid, secure that lid back down with the screws, and then on the inside from the top you can see that the next thing then is just routing the wires so that the enclosures that go down on there, the styrofoam and then the plastic one, so they're not pinching the wires, obviously, so no wires are getting in any moving parts. And I did that with some 4-inch small zip ties. Zip tied it all up and got those all secure. It's kind of a big bundle. I could have cut the wires shorter, but then I would have had to remake the ends, and I kind of like leaving factory ends the way they came. The last thing I had to do was to get the ground wire on there, and at first I thought about doing a shortcut and just cutting and splicing the wire, but back to my I'd really rather not. So I took the painstaking time to use a little open-end wrench to unscrew the nut that was on there and get it backed off, and then put that ground wire on, and then again wrap the ground wire, call it the excess ground wire, into that wire bundle as well.
Well, look at that. Retest in progress. That fan is going like crazy. So let me shut the fan off and button it back up, and we'll do another retest from the inside. I think I wasn't recording when I put the plastic scoop on the front end back on. There's not much to it. Plastic scoop goes on, bolts. Then the styrofoam, call it insulation piece, went on top. And if you remember, the insulation piece also had those strips of like little foam insulation. Those things in various places actually work against the lid. So when you put this cover back on, that cover is actually pressing against that and helping create even better insulation. So the lid is part of your insulation for your air conditioning system as well. But now we're going to turn it on full blast regular way downstairs. Time to test this AC. We've set zone 1, which is the front zone, to cool to 72. Just waiting for that 80 to turn blue like zone 2 is. It says it's calling for cold. Oh, here it goes. And it's so much quieter than it was before. All right, we did it. It's all fixed. This part right here that you're watching is actually 2 weeks after fixing this AC unit, and it's been working like a champ ever since, and much, much quieter. Hey, thanks for following along. I'm David the RV Shepherd. Like and subscribe to get more content like this that you can do yourself on your RV. This whole channel is dedicated to helping new people understand RVs better. Whether you're looking to buy or maybe you're in your first RV, I want to help you have an RV without having regret. And some of that's being prepared before you buy, and some of that is education as you go forward on the things that you can take care of yourself. All right, I'm David. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.